everyone. And for those of you who have just joined us, you missed a cracking game between UE Sea Stags and Simperial. Before the game, we all sort of expected a close matchup based on the stats and the people they've played against so far. And I'm happy to say that that's exactly what we got. And I'm pretty sure that Max and I won the predictions game. I think Dor, you were there was one round in it
So
for you.
close.
Yeah, literally one round. In the breaks, we were talking about how perhaps UE might have thrown in a little bit towards the end. Is this something that you would agree with, Dor? I'll come to you first.
I mean, throw is a strong term. I think it's exactly like I said in the game. They just failed to understand what they were doing correctly. It was accidental greatness, but greatness that was able to carry them across the finish line, however tired they may have looked at that point. And I think, that's an easy thing to go back, say, hey, well, just watch the VOD, and they should be able to understand pretty quickly what they were struggling with. And it's not a hard thing to change, right? It was a compositional difference that they needed to take advantage of. And I don't think they were ready for the composition either that the opposing team was throwing out. They didn't recognize that that was something that they could take advantage of. And so going into future matches, I think they'll know what they can do. And I expect some pretty big improvement out of them. Not to mention, they still got the win.
Max, do you think the better team won today?
I think the better team won today. Overall, I agree completely with Dor said. I think just overall, when it came to their rotates and their team composition and their mechanical gunfights, it seemed just about in every way, UE just barely made their way out, a lot of it. Their first half was phenomenal. It was just, out of the park. That second half, though, it really gave them a huge struggle. And that VOD review is going to become really important in that second half.
Let's really quickly just talk about team compositions. It's not very often that we see two almost completely different teams. Though I know that you were hoping to see the Jet, and we did see the Jet, luckily, on UE side. It might just be me, but am I the only person who feels that there is just something sexy about a Jet that orcs? Or would you guys agree with me on that one?
I mean, it's kind of just what she does best. And we saw Fate put it to good use time after time after time. Again, the repositioning ability is just obscene, right? He was in mid, he was peeking at A, he was peeking at C. This guy was all across the map. And honestly, all that fragging potential that you said UE were inching out, I think 90% of that came just down to Fate finding early round picks that actually allowed them to take away some of those rounds where they were just leaking away the clock.
I'm not sure if we've got a highlight clip of it. I hope we do, but can we just really quickly talk about I can't remember what round it was, but I think it was on the attacking side, or no, defending side, where the Jet sort of walked into the Omen smoke and somehow got that Sage out of nowhere. Did you guys expect him to do that?
I don't think you can expect anything coming out of the smokes, but sometimes it just takes surprise plays like that. Sometimes you need to catch your opponent off guard. You can't always respect their utility, even if they barely have any of it. And Fate shows us how that can pay off. Whether it be early round, late in the round, or in the post-plant scenarios, that Jet has so much ability to just pop off. And if you put it on the right player, it's going to pay off.
Max, I just really quickly wanted to come to you about the Reyna. I don't think any of us necessarily expected to see the Reyna. What did you make of their performance on the agent, given the fact that he did frag out on the champion?
The big problem we usually see with Reynas is that they play way too aggressively. Kind of like what Fate is on the Jet, is that Jet and Reyna are very selfish operators or agents. And the problem is that a lot of the time, those opening picks, unfortunately, went from Fate going on to NDS, who was playing on that Reyna, and they just died so quickly that they never really got a chance, a lot of the rounds, to blossom. The rounds where they did have those chances to actually play the game and get those kills, we were easily seeing 2 kills, 3 kills, triple kills going across the board for them. But it's a matter of just not playing too aggressively and playing with the rest of your team, even though your utilities only really benefit you. You still need to play with the rest of your team and be a team player.
Lastly, let's just really quickly round this off with the Brimstone. I know you guys mentioned in game that we didn't really get to see him ulti that many times, but how important was the fact that they seemed to really play around his smokes? And when he did die on the attacking side, do you think it was a coincidence that whenever Matt died early on, they kind of just looked really lackluster and lost out? Do they maybe place too much emphasis on playing around Brimstone and his kit a bit? I'll come to you, Dor.
No, absolutely. I think they could have played around his kit even more so. They played very heavily around it earlier on in the rounds, But again, that's where we're talking about them taking away time, taking away resources. All of a sudden, he's down one, two smokes, your Cypher's down a cage, and then you go to take a site, and you just don't have those options. It's the biggest advantage you have. If you take these fights in open areas, if you take these fights in wide sight lines, that's what they wanted you to do. That's how they get the Leers out. That's how they get all of their utility into the game. You're playing against a fragging composition. That utility, that Brimstone, that's your backbone of your composition. So like you said, losing him early in the round, it is a huge detriment. But in the rounds where they were using their utility early and not putting enough weight on it, they absolutely could have played around him a lot harder.
Would you agree, Max?
No, I would agree with that. We didn't really see those smokes benefit a lot except for those post-plant situations. And even then, usually when we came down to post-plant situations, minus maybe 1 or 2 rounds in the whole game, it was pretty much already set in stone who was going to win. I mean, there was maybe like one game or one round where we saw, the post-plant situation go completely sideways on that C site. But even then, the smoke and anti-visual that we saw was all Omen. We didn't see anything from Brimstone because they were long dead at that point.
And before we move on to game 2 of this evening, I just wanted to get both of your match MVP, I guess, from the last game.
I mean, for me, it's gotta be Fate by a pretty close margin. And it's only because in the rounds where they weren't able to do what they should have done and just take advantage of their utility, it was Fate scraping away 1, 2, 3 rounds with just an early pick that was barely enough to get them through. And I think that was the difference between the team that just puttered out because they couldn't identify what they were doing correctly and a team that gets himself across the finish line off the back of some strong early round plays.
All right, so we have Fate from Door, and Max, your pick is?
I'm going to say Voiceless Cruelty because I think they were the most consistent player on the board the entire game. There was never a round where Voiceless on that stage was not doing what they were supposed to do. I would say they got at least 2 kills almost every single round in the game. And they did just such a great job. There was never a point where they dipped in quality, and they just remained as a backbone for their team the entire time through.
Nice. Well, we have 2 players there. So if they're watching, you guys are the official MVPs for the last game. So next, we have Bad Omens versus Reading Knights A. And because we have 2 American casters here, who I'm sure you guys thought it was pronounced reading because our language is weird and it is reading. But over here, we call it Reading. It's a place sort of north of London-ish. People are going to call me out for this because I don't quite know where Reading is, but I feel like it's sort of north of London.
It's all right. You can pronounce it, which is like one step better than where we are.
Okay, I've just been told it's west, and I feel really bad because I used to live in West London. I always thought it was north, but anyway. So these 2 teams, arguably, we should be expecting a slightly higher standards of Valorant purely because I believe Reading are currently 4th in our rankings in the Swiss stage. So like we did before, I'd love to hear your predictions for this game. I will come to you first this time, Door.
Yeah, I'm looking at the difference between these 2 teams right now. In Bad Omens, while they seem like they should be a touch better than the teams we just witnessed, I don't think they're going to be too far off. I think Reading is going to be just past that breaking point where these teams really start stepping up. That 4th seed is going to matter a lot more than you might think. I think the teams in that 4th through 1st slot really start to step up their game, and I expect to see some really strong tactical play in the in-game leading that I feel like we were really lacking in the previous game out of UWE. We're going to see come out in spades. And on a map like Bind, that can be really important.
Oh, yeah, they are playing Bind. I should have probably mentioned that. But the players, I believe, are in lobby and they're playing Bind. Right, so who do you think is going to win? Bad Omens or Reading?
Oh, I have no idea. I'm going to say Bad Omens, just to be a little bit different. I do feel like both teams will come really close down again. If you asked us last time, and I mean, you did, which teams were going to come down to the wire last game, it was down to the very last possible round. I wasn't expecting that. I don't think anyone was expecting that. And I feel like Bad Omens versus the University of Reading is going to be the same exact situation again.
What about you, Dor? Reading or Bad Omens?
I mean, Reading's the obvious pick for me, and I didn't go with the obvious pick last time, so I'll say I've learned my lesson. Reading are taking this one all the way, and I'm thinking it's something, we'll say 13-7.
Ooh. Whoa, that's pretty specific as well. I mean, I'm just going to go with the fact that obviously Reading is a higher seed. I believe Bad Omens is whole university, but they're calling themselves Bad Omens. So I feel like it wouldn't be a good omen to choose them. So I'm gonna I had to. So I'm personally gonna go for Reading. Now before I pass it over to you guys, obviously, like I mentioned, we've got Bind. Where does that sort of sit on your favorite map scale, as we were discussing it earlier? So I think Max, you mentioned that you don't really like Bind as a map.
No, it's just we see it so often. Can we just get split a few more times, please? I mean, Bind is probably the most even map in the game, and I say that very begrudgingly because I personally kind of disagree with that. But I think statistics kind of back up that statement by saying, but first of all, it's the most played map pretty much in all of Valorant, but also it has the best mix of mechanical skill and also just that IGLing and team coordination skill as well.
What about you, Dor? What are your feelings on Bind?
Bind, it's some people's favorite. I will say that, but it's like
favorite.
vanilla ice cream. It's just like it's all right in like every regard, but not like super good in any one. It's kind of lacking a little bit of flavor, but it does open up these teams to play a lot of really interesting stuff. Whether it's the IGLing that we talked about, whether it's mechanical skill, but I mean, I think we can go on to talk about compositions now. The Viper and the Cypher are both very, very potent options on this map. Of course, the Viper for all the potential one-ways, but the Cypher as well for how they can lock down that B site can offer up a lot of tools as well. And while we didn't get to see it in the previous series, I think we might see a few more modern compositions coming into this next one.
I mean, first you were talking about vanilla ice in a pre-production chat, and now we've got vanilla ice cream. So I don't know how to process that information. But also, I thought that was really harsh on vanilla ice cream. I really enjoy vanilla ice cream. It's a good base. Like you can't have like cookie dough without vanilla ice cream. So it's underrated in my opinion.
I could talk about this for hours. I worked at a custard place. I don't want to see or taste vanilla another time in my life. I'm more than good without it. It can go away, but for now, I guess we're going to Bind, so it's got to stay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of vanilla ice cream, but yeah. So in terms of the Viper pick, we did also have a brief chat about this earlier. Max, I guess I get your last thought on it before we go into the game. I'm not sure if the players are ready yet, but if you can tell us why is it that she is so crucial on Bind, and why is it that players need to use her properly more often?
I mean, when it comes down to it, it comes down to that team composition. You can play whatever agent you want on either side. I mean, there's good reasons and bad reasons to choose who you pick. But I mean, in the end, if you're able to really bring it home, just being superior in every way, it doesn't matter. But of course, this is real life. So it does matter exactly who you play on each team. That Viper is going to be paramount if we do see it on Bind, especially for that B site. And if we, the ult is on the board when that time comes around, attacking or defending, A site will become completely under lockdown. And that's the most important thing when it comes to Bind, is that each site can be locked down so heavily and so quickly.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And I believe the players are ready. So let's see if we do have one or two, hopefully two Vipers in this next game. And I'll pass this over to your casters.
My hair is a mess.
I feel that. I got here like 15 minutes before the last match. I look like a mess, but this game hopefully isn't going to be one. We talked about why this one can be a little bit different. We're looking at some higher seeds. I want to see clean and concise play from both of these teams. You are looking at teams that have hopes of winning this entire thing. You're looking at teams that need to show it, though. And Reading Knights especially need to be able to prove themselves as that fourth seed, that they have that tactical advantage, and there's no better map to be doing that than Bind. Very curious to see what the kind of setups are here, though. The normal prevalence as of late has been to put 3 people towards the B site, simply because it's that much harder to retake. The A site plays out a lot more so like a Haven, where you can come in from multiple angles, try and retake the site, and pretty readily do it, especially if the attackers go for the quicker execute strategy, get the plant down. They're not likely to take all that much control over the map, over the site. Therefore, it's going to become that much easier to retake, and we'll see them do exactly that. Hull has set themselves up, and they are looking to make their way towards that B site.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a very interesting first round because, again, all that utility and all the weaponry is going to be relatively the same. With, a little bit more time on the prep phase, it's going to be down to, it looks like it's going to be immediately a B-side rush. And I think this is going to be an absolute slaughter fest door. I think this is going to be a very, very, very quick round. But we do see a little bit of prodding and probing from the Cypher as well, going into A site, looking to see the rotations especially, but right away, it looking like a lot of the B site is going to be defended very quickly. And so now it's just a bit of a slow time between the two teams, just seeing who will get that opening pick. And that's going to be what's most important. We're looking at Hunter 21 right now. He's going to be trying to find that initial kill, but unfortunately, that's going to be all of Puka completely blocked off. And that's going to force them to rotate around either to B long or go all the way towards A. And we do see the Reyna in the back going towards A as well, preparing for some sort of setup.
Oh, and their brains are so large for this. Look at this. They back up, walk their way back towards B, and they've pulled out one player in the rotate. The second this wall goes down, expect this execute to be massive.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a massive execute right now. It's going to be an absolute just waterfall. And Hunter finding that first kill on the Prof, and Maddie clapping back finds her Jamie. Spooky though, but Eagle Pick getting the double kill across the board right now, and that's going to leave it to a 2v2 situation on B site. That spy plan still isn't down, and there's 30 seconds left. Someone's got to do something, but it's going to be SGG Badger going down from Almaridi on that Omen. Suddenly now you're a Brimstone, you're blinded out completely, you are surrounded and dead. That's going to be an early defuse coming down from Reading.
Ooh. I mean, I don't know much about being English or whatever, but I do know something about teabags, and that is not how you want to start off a match, getting it immediately. And you know what? I like the confidence coming out from Reading right now. That was a great retake as well. Pushing through all the utility, getting through early. The rotation was quick. It was concise. The strat from Bad Omen was strong, the way they came in, the way they waited it out. But again, execution is a whole nother matter. They weren't able to hit their shots, and they weren't able to keep up, and now you're going to be punished for it. You're down on pistols up against the buy of Reading. This is going to be an incredibly hard round for them to crack, but if they can do it, then they've set themselves up beautifully for the rest of the match.
Yeah, and setting yourself up is going to be the name of the game right now, because they unbind, you have to set yourself up. You can't just run and gun a site like that. And immediately, it looks like Eagle Peak taking down Almaridi immediately. That's going to be a follow-up double kill. Almaridi getting the double kill. Beautiful job. Spooky, though, shutting it down before it becomes any more of a problem. And that's going to be both Omens completely dead. Spooky and going down, unfortunately. That's going to be Badger taking down Giselle as well. And Eagle Peak finishing out, taking down that Jet. And that's going to be another round in the bag for Reading. That was so quick. And unfortunately, like, there's not a whole lot to really say. It just went by so quick.
I mean, that was a damn near perfect anti-eco coming in there. You lose one player, but you're not feeling too bad about it. What the attackers are looking for is 2, maybe even 3 to call it a successful round. So as far as Reading goes, this is a bonus round for them. They don't have to buy anything. They have a guaranteed buy next round. And if they come away with this one, it's even better. All of a sudden, you're looking at an economy that's at 7, 8, 9K per person. If they can just close this one out. And the way it's been going, it seems like they might be able to. I think a lot of it, though, is going to be told by the story of this early round. How do Bad Omen want to position themselves? Because they're going to poke and prod today, but they're leaving their options open. They're looking for that exact same pick, looking to use these Vandals and that range advantage that they're going to have with the fuller buy to try and take this A site.
Yeah, the A site is going to be a hotly contested area right now, because that spike plant is already fully committed to it. There's no story of the rotates going around that we normally see on Bind, but the spike plant is going to be fully prepped up and ready to go. Hull needs to bring this back right now. It's only 2 points of a differential right now, but you need to get at least 1 point on the board before it becomes a really big issue. Already, the economy's looking great for Reading, and Reg finding a kill onto Almaridi. Hunter previously taking down Eagle Pick. 2 of the biggest fraggers for Reading side down towards the count. And it's going to be a back and forth between the two teams, but Jammy Dodger coming out on top, taking down Maddie, but Giselle wants to shut it down. But unfortunately, like we said, just an absolute onslaught between the two teams. And the University of Hull finally have their first point on the board. And it looks like A might be the golden goose opportunity they need to help bring it to an even scoreline.
And that was a pretty good A take from Bad Omen. They came in, they set up their utility, they got their take how they wanted to. The one place where they failed that almost collapsed around for them was the Jet pushing bathrooms. The Omen smoke came through, shut them down. All of a sudden, they have zero site control. The only little bit of the site that they own is the corner where the spike is going down. Luckily, though, Reading Knights, they got impatient. They pushed through before the smokes came out, and then it was Bad Omen back in the advantage state. They knew that they were fine holding their own angles. All of a sudden, Reading are pushing through smokes, losing 2 or 3 players. A little bit more patience there, and that is a very, very winnable recontest.
It's definitely winnable, and it was just a back and forth so much on A side. But speaking of back and forth, or at least potentially back and forth, Omoridi finds the Brimstone early on, and it seems like so far, Brimstones have just not been having great games so far. He did have the ult on the board, but it goes down so quickly. We won't be able to see it this round. Wretch still trying to poke his way up through the middle area, trying to find his way onto A side, not having a whole lot of luck. In fact, a lot of Hull is suffering a lot right now. They're completely split up, and they want to dedicate themselves to A again, having the same luck they did the round before, but they're missing the man advantage. I think a lot of their round depended on that Brimstone ult, but they're not going to find it anymore, so they're going to split push through A mid and go through bathroom and hope to find the next pick to aggress onto the site. But with 30 seconds left, it's not a great position to be in.
Reading, though, with this recontest, they're going to be able to shut it down. They get 1 smoke in. There's already 3 players rotated, but Sergeant Badger opening things up beautifully, taking down Gisele, who is the crux of that defense. Getting aggressive. Another one here from the Jet, opening this site wide open. Now the spike can go down, but they're at a man disadvantage.
10 seconds left on the board. It's a back and forth. STG Badger taking down Maddie, but Ego Peak securing it all, bringing it back with a 2-point lead once more for the University of Reading. Ego Peak right now is playing how we expected Reyna to play on Haven last map. They are doing exactly what they need to do, and they're holding on to that life so much.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Reading Knights as well. They're playing this composition beautifully. I want you guys to keep your eye on the Cypher. Watch him dance between the B and the A site, and the Reyna has been doing it as well. That rotation through the defender spawn can be incredibly powerful, and they're using it perfectly. Every time Bad Omen look to attack a site, there's 3 people there. That push gets incredibly difficult for them, and it's going to be the exact same story here as Prophet takes down Wretch early in the round.
Prophet taking down Wretch, like you said, that's going to be an important first pick because we've seen Wretch put in a lot of work so far, but unfortunately not enough to survive this round. And again, we see the University of Hull starting off on that man disadvantage again, and it's not a great position to be in. We've seen a commonality where a lot of those opening picks lead to the round wins, and so far it's not just an opening pick, it's an opening 3K. SGG Badger does find Eagle Peak as well, but that's gonna be 1 to 3 bodies completely gone. It's looking great right now for Reading. They have so many ults on the board, and they have a lot to play around with on this map. They can do a whole lot right now, but it looks like B site might be the way to go.
Well, they're peeking at B site, but they've effectively been forced here because Reading Knights, they push around them. They take away any sort of map control. They constrict Bad Omen into these places they absolutely do not want to be. And it's working out really well for them because all of a sudden, Bad Omen, that utility that they have, it's not as valuable because the players are so close to you. You can't smoke the things that are sitting right around the next corner when you need to be the one pushing into them. That execute becomes a lot harder. I think what Bad Omen need is just a little bit of a change of tempo right about now. Come into this round guns blazing, go for a quick execute because that's what got you your 1 round on the board. It's worth it to try it again.
It's definitely worth trying again, and they need to do it again because whatever they did that first round to get that round win, it worked out so well in their favor, and they got to continue it. Omoridi finding not one, but just one. Wretch taking it down before it became a real problem. That's going to be Omoridi going down, but that was a great opening pick. That was a fantastic use of the judge, and unfortunately, just not able to follow it up too well. And with the A side getting aggressed on so much, we do see Eagle Peak hiding in the back, waiting for that flank once the spike goes down. But it looks like it's all getting prepped up for the spike to be planted, and now the post plant is going to be hotly contested.
Yeah, but they are going to have a hard time. Look for Reading this time to wait for those smokes to clear. Oh, but Sergeant Badger isn't. Pushes straight through them, looking to get themselves a large advantage. Try and take some sort of angle. Ego Peak procking and prodding around the backside, but taken down by Red. Sergeant Badger is locked down round after round after round. The second here goes up on the board for Bad Omen.
Another fantastic round for Bad Omen. They're bringing it back. It seems like they figured out exactly what they want to do to really bring this game to life. Their B-side push has been extremely lackluster, and unfortunately, a lot of their opening picks against them have been going towards the B side. But when they rotate either from B to A, or even just start off on the A side push, they have so much luck going forward, and they need to continue it. But it looks like, interestingly, we do have the defensive side. We have Redding go for a lot of rifles this time around. I'm not really sure how I feel about that, Door.
Yeah, Redding as well, what they've gone for is an A-site stack with those rifles. They understand that this is where Bad Omen are having a lot of their advantages. Look for this Omen, though, pushing through bathrooms to be the real difference maker. Never mind, forget that. Headshots everywhere, already. My God, dude, from Cubby, completely ruining the plans of Bad Omen.
And it's down to Eagle Peak looking for that final kill, but Jammy Dodger finding Amaridi, and that's going to be the op shot missing. Jammy Dodger not stopping here, going to get that 2K, but it will... The op is in the way. They're completely surrounded. Jammy is stuck inside the U-Haul area. They could try to aggress forwards onto the site a little bit more. They're stuck with that spike, and there's only a minute left, but it's not looking good for Jammy. They can stall out time and maybe attempt to heal if they get a little bit of damage, but they're all completely good. Giselle trying to find those shots, and whoa! I did not think that connected originally, but Jammy going down from the Marshall quickscope from Giselle. My God!
And Redding is showing some dominance that we really expected to see from them. This is the difference maker, right? The fragging has been from both sides just insane. Sergeant Badger is a whole other beast on this jet right now. But Redding, what they have is just that leadership. The in-game strats are insanely strong from these guys. They had the read on the A take. They had the stack. It only took them one round to recognize that. Now heading into the next one, I think it's up to Bad Omen to show us a change of pace, a change of style somewhere, and find a pick in a way that they haven't managed to before, because if they don't change things up, Redding are going to continue their strategic dominance.
Yeah, Bad Omen has had a great idea of what they want to keep executing so far, but it's just a matter of, actually doing it now. They had a great idea last round again to continue on the A site, and Jammy Dodger got that spike onto A. Unfortunately, in a 1v4, not able to plant it down. But now it's a matter of just bringing it home, having the whole team all together, and getting that spike plant down. But right now, they're at a huge standstill and realize, okay, maybe this won't work as well as it used to before. We do see Wretch going for the full teleport all the way onto the B site, but nope, they cancel it out. Amaridi, however, getting the double kill. Fantastic. Oh, man, it's not looking great again for Bad Omen.
This guy just puts himself in all sorts of ridiculous positions. Now, though, it's Maddie in the position, hiding out the cage. He's cut the site in half. He's not allowing them to have any real control. Can't take down one. No, he tries to transfer too early. He'll be punished for it. Prophet coming in, trying to clean up from B long. Has an opportunity to take down one, maybe two, to try and lock this one up. And the spike goes down. Amaridi has to come with more. A fourth on the board, and that's going to be enough for Redding Knights to come away with yet another round off the back of this Omen.
4K across the board for Amaridi. That round was a fantastic play from him. And, I mean, 6-2 with plays like that from Amaridi, not really that surprising, Door. Not really that surprising at all.
I mean, look at this push. It's been the bathrooms are this guy's home. He's pitched a tent. He's not paying any rent. In fact, he's making them pay rent for him living there. And he's gotten his team numerous advantages. This 3 stack on the A site seems to be what's doing the trick. Yes, it's not standard, but Bad Omen have favored this A site so heavily that you have time to rotate that one man off. And that's not to mention if Amaridi doesn't just take down 2-3 players early in the round. Bad Omen, they've tested out almost every option. Oh my God, does he even stop?
Amaridi will not stop. It's the round just began and already bodies are collapsing on Hull's side. Amaridi right now is on a rampage and it looks like he's not going to be stopped just yet. This is going to leave the attackers to be in a huge split push position and not in a good way. Amaridi's out for blood right now and he's going to get another one on the Jammy. That's going to be the spike going down, and suddenly those attackers in the bathroom aren't facing too many enemies, but they're in huge trouble. We do see Prophet finding Badger in the bathroom, and that's going to leave Wretch completely stranded. Amaridi knows that there's someone nearby the spike. He wants that blood so bad, but your boy Spooky is all by himself with the shorty, and he's completely stuck. Teleports galore going around, trying to make it seem like that nobody's on the spike anymore, but Spooky's not that dumb. He knows better, and that's going to be Maddie securing the kill onto Wretch. 40 seconds left, but I don't think that time limit really makes a difference this round anymore because it's all down to one man with a shorty versus the world. He's going to make his way up, but the ops are going to be in his way, and no one seems to have spotted him out so far. Oh my god, there is no way. Come on. Ego peak. And Giselle finishes it off.
You can hear the Jaws theme in the background, just dun but it's Bad Omen who go down yet again, and yet again it's Amaridi. This guy, it is pure unadulterated confidence flowing through his veins right now. 15-5, he's walking into the attacker's spawn like he owns the damn place. If this continues, Bad Omen are going to be in a very, very ugly position as far as their economy goes, but they do have a gun round on the board, so there is some sort of light there for them to try and hold on to. There's a chance for them to try and come back in this match, but it's really going to take a lot, and this gun round is exactly where I wanted to start.
Ooh, but Prophet trying to go again for that early A-long op peak.
Amaridi,
Again, usually working before. Amaridi's just not giving up here. He keeps going and going, but it looks like the reverse op peak that time around gives a lot of leeway for that attacking push onto B. And it seems like this might be the golden ticket opportunity, especially with Amaridi on the other side. But he has that all. He's not afraid. He's going to go right behind everybody. Manning, however, putting up his own, going to get that double kill, and Hunter is going to clap back and take him down with his own double kill. It's going to be a 2v2 situation. Giselle and Amaridi usually playing really well together, bouncing off each other so well. It's going to be up to the attackers to see if they can shut down at least one of them before it becomes too late. But here's... Yeah, you want to go for it?
Yeah, they're taking train all the way to A-Town right about now. They've juked not only the players, but the casters, and we can see the minimap. So this play had to have been very good. Omen, though, gets to teleport through the spike. The post plant should play out relatively similarly. Both teams, though, lost utility, which makes this retake a little bit trickier. Oh, Giselle, look left, but no!
Oh, no. Unfortunate for Giselle, trying to bring it back to the smart rotate, but it's not going to work out. And Amaridi, despite everything, is in a really bad position right now. He's going to make his way up towards green boxes, trying to look around to see where these angles could potentially be. He finds the Brimstone, that's be Hunter going down, but that Cypher is still nowhere to be seen. He's pre-firing everywhere he can, and that's going to be the defuse going down. He has a generally good idea that where it's going to be, but Spooky getting the opening pick, and the last pick, that's going to be Hull getting another round on the board, and they need all the rounds they can get.
I mean, what did I say? 7-13? It's lining up about right, but at Omen, I think it's lining up just right for them. They lost a lot of rounds early on, but it feels like they're finally getting a grasp on how Reading want to be playing these rounds. They're understanding where Amaridi is, and while Amaridi did it again in that previous round, it did take Giselle coming and helping him out with the double peek over in Bathrooms to actually get that level of success. So as this continues on in these last two rounds of the half, I believe that Amaridi is going to have a little bit more trouble finding the same level of success they did prior, but who am I to doubt this guy with the level of performance he's been putting on?
Eagle Peak, though, is showing up just as well. Eagle Peak and Amaridi again going back and forth, just tunneling off and completely shutting down this A push completely. That's going to be potentially a double kill right there, not able to see him through the smoke. Wretch does find Prophet again, and Prophet hasn't been having a great few rounds. Mostly just getting those opening picks, but all things considered, not having that great of a performance, especially on a Sage. Eagle Peak, though, getting that second kill.
You know, that was an optimistic peak from Rich. I think we all saw him running guns blazing through Bathrooms, but I don't think he knew what he was about to run guns blazing face first into. Now this round is really hard for Bad Omen, right? Your economy is not great next round. It's, in fact, god-awful. But you also want to win this round. You're looking at the last round of the half. You want to do what you can with the weapons that you have. But I honestly kind of like the save here, if I'm being honest. I want to try and get that one more good shot at a round, because that's the only time they've really been able to lock it out. It's that in the early A takes, but with the level of aggression that Amaridi has been putting out, it hasn't been able to come through. Those guaranteed executes that we see all the time with the Sage Walls and the Brimstone Smokes, they're not allowed to do those. They haven't been able to actually get close enough to even execute the site. And so what we need is them holding onto these weapons, taking gunfights in peculiar places, and shutting down Amaridi early. You have given up a round kill at the beginning of every round for what, 5-6 rounds now? This should not be happening. It's supposed to be illegal. You're supposed to stop him from doing it. Just post 2 people up in mid, put 2 people up in Bathrooms. There's no way, I'm gonna knock on wood there. There's no way he can kill both of you at once if you just hit a couple of shots, but they're not. They're taking 1v1s against his Omen, and he's getting away with murder. Yes.
Yeah, the University of Hull right now is having a really hard time coordinated with these gunfights. And, you know, it's kind of funny in positions where the spike goes down and we see the whole defending team, all of Reading, just surround the spike. And you can see the coordination. You can see the communication in the way they move, bouncing off of each other. Prophet, again, trying to go for this opening pick right now. And again, not having success with it anymore. 2 rounds in a row now. We're spooked. No, I'm sorry. 3 rounds in a row now where Spooky with that op has been out-opping Prophet, and it just has not been working out for them at all. Maddie does find Badger, and that's going to shut down the Jet ult. And again, a slaughterhouse on a 3K from Maddie, and Hunter shuts it down, but at what cost at this point? The cost is absolute annihilation. That's going to be the B-site massacre. Amaridi now finds his way onto the B-site. That's going to be a universal shutdown from the 3 best fraggers on the University of Reading side, each getting their respective kills. Of course, Maddie getting the 3K to go with it. And this is just an absolute snowball.
Yeah, I mean, already comes in and does what he does best. But let's talk about Maddie. We haven't talked about this guy in a while because they haven't gone to B site in a while. They've been slamming their face straight into the barrel of Amaridi's gun for the past 6 rounds. So let's talk about B for a little bit. Maddie on this Cypher. That is the 2nd time we've seen him get a 3K from that same exact position. And things might have been a little bit different if Sergeant Badger didn't bash his forehead in on the wall there trying to dash out of hookah. But, you know, mistakes are mistakes, and Maddie capitalized on them beautifully, opened up the game entirely. However, this replay right here gives me hope. This tells me that they recognize how aggressive Reading Knights have been getting and that they're looking to punish it. The operator was a great idea, and let's see if they can kind of build on that here coming into the next round.
Yeah, and they need to punish this. They need to realize what their mistakes are and just play on top of it. But right now, again, no opening picks this time from Prophet. Not going to go for that same op spot again. They don't want to put themselves in that early disadvantage that they have been for at least half of the game so far. Maridi this time, though, gonna be going for the rotate through the teleporter, going on to A, and this is a sticky situation to be in, but Wretch, come on, man. Come on, getting on Maridi. That is so important. You lost your 2 top fraggers in the first round of the second half. Prophet, though, taking down Hunter, and that's gonna be Wretch again with a triple kill. You killed all 3, the top 3. And that's Badger following up, taking down Prophet as well, and Giselle not able to live much longer after taking Badger down. That's gonna be Spooky following up, and that is the round we keep needing to see from the University of Hull, because that was a beautiful 3K.
I love that from Rich. Absolutely zero respect for Reading Knights, regardless of what they did to you in rounds prior. Pushes insanely aggressively on the first round. The second that teleport goes through, you can just hear the ka-ching in the back of his head. He knows this play is money. Comes up for a 3rd, even a few style points to his name. That's what I want from Bad Omen. And you know what? Maybe if there was just an Omen buff. I'm not sure if it's just Amaridi, it's just Wretch. Maybe there's just an Omen buff I didn't hear about. But these guys are playing out of their minds right now.
No, there was just an Amaridi buff. Don't you worry. So far, I mean, I guess we're not going to see Viper, but we do see this crazy double Omen action coming out from both teams, and it's been working out fantastically. I think we know our MVP so far, but Prophet taking down Jammy, and that's going to be Spooky trying to do something with the Sheriff, and it's not working out. But Ego Peak finds Badger, and it's just a slaughter fest on B site between the 2 teams. Now, Maddie, of course, is the absolute kingpin when it comes to B site, and it's not changing at all. There's only a minute left, and suddenly you're down to Wretch again. It's a 1v3, and that's not going to be for much longer. Ego Peak through the Leer, securing it all and bringing us to the double digits.
That round was awful for Reading. Yes, you got a couple of frags, but I mean, we can take a look at their economy, and you're going to see they're not exactly floating particularly nice. That was an aggressive force buy into the second round. Your economy is not going to be looking hot. And Bad Omens, all they've done is bolster this. This is a bonus round for them up against Pistols. It should almost be a guaranteed win unless you lose too many players to these shorties. That is the real danger, and that is Reading's only way into this round. An early round pick with one of those shotguns could be the bane of Bad Omen's existence.
I mean, if those shorties can do something, I'll be pretty surprised because it's the shorty. I mean, it's probably the worst gun in the game, but Prophet with the up, taking down Badger right off the bat. Finally getting that opening pick again that I don't think we've seen in maybe 7 rounds from him. Omaridi's playing a lot more dialed back this time around, however, not wanting to access himself a little too much, but those shorties are waiting. Ego Peak, though, not caring at all about these stupid shorties. See, again, Omaridi doesn't care about those either. And you're down to just your Cypher. And that's going to be Spooky, the last one alive, and that's not a pretty place to be in, especially Door when he's nowhere near the site. That's going to be he's running away for his life. Never mind, not anymore. He just accepted his fate. Oh boy, he gets a shorty kill. Okay, but good luck getting another one. You've accepted your fate. You got that kill, and now you're going to pay the price. Yeah, he pays the price.
It was a good attempt. We'll give it to him for that. He got the one that he needed. Takes a little bit of the cash out of Reading's hands, but they're not feeling too bad about that. In fact, they're staring down game point 11-4, better than I think any of us could have predicted, better than I predicted at 13-7. But I want to continue to see Reading play like this. This is very, very strong. They've played their gun rounds beautifully, and tactically on the attacking side, it has been just perfection. The rotations come out. They recognize where Wretch is, where Wretch wants to be, and where Wretch was, because that's the only player getting aggressive on Bad Omens. After that, it's just take site, play your post plant solid, and use this one way as effectively as you can. Hunter looking for early picks here, but it's Giselle who opens it up onto Spooky.
Giselle getting a fantastic first kill, and Prophet following up on that as well, finding Hunter as well. This is not looking good for Hull right now. They need to find something, but Amariti just does not care. He swerves and bobs and weaves around these gunfires. That's Jammy finding Giselle again, and that's a back and forth. Jammy getting the double kill, finding some luck for the defense right now, but is it going to be enough? They get walled off in response, and suddenly that spike's going to go down, and Wretch needs to rotate all the way across with an op, and it's such a really, oh man, a really bad angle for him to try to do anything on. It's not a great look to be in, and he has an a Vandal back at him.
And he hasn't had this operator the entire game. We have not seen him do this. He has to hit this shot first try. No! Misses onto the Omen. The jig is up. They know where the two players are. All they need to do is cover their angles. The blind goes through. Follow it up. A rifle to the face. Wretch gets one. He couldn't get a second. No! Attackers seal out the round and get themselves game point. Reading Knights have played that round amazingly.
Door, where did the game go? It's suddenly match point again. 12-4. I know you predicted 13-7 overall. I predicted it would go to the very last round. So far, neither of us are right, but you're definitely a lot closer. But what's going on, Hull? What's going on here? Because it seems like, in theory, a lot of their executions on attack and defense are really good. It's just that Amariti, Ego Peak, and Maddie are just able to clear house individually.
I mean, you can talk about what went wrong, or, you know, this thing went wrong, but let's not call it a thing. He's got a name. It's Amariti. He's been the bane of their existence. Not to mention, just tactically, the in-game leading for this team has been phenomenal. They're looking to close out one more here, though. Wretch could shut him down. Sprays through the smoke. Gets one onto Giselle. Maddie looking to crack over the site that he used to call home on defense. He'll do exactly that. Takes down Jamie Dodger. However, these blinds and smoke are beautiful from Bad Omens, and they clear out the site. Wretch finding himself 3 of his own.
Beautiful work overall for Hull. I mean, I guess they're listening to the cast a little bit, because they really brought it back there at the nick of time. I mean, all things considered, that easily could have gone either way, and I feel bad for our poor observers, because that is such an intensity to try to observe for us so well. But those gunfights were just lightning fast and so well placed that B site is just gonna be hotly contested every round that we see.
Now, Reading, though, this is kind of a bad omen for them, if you will, because the team, with their namesake, actually set themselves up with a nice set of weapons. They can try and take away this round. They have a nice set of ultimates to try and close it out as well. Now, Reading, you need to play slower. You need to rely on that in-game leading to get you some sort of rotate out of Bad Omens that you can really start to work with, because pushing in guns blazing, not quite working for them as well as it once was.
That's right. You need to change up your strategy right now. Things are getting a lot more intense now, especially with the Mount Everest you have to hike as the University of Hull. You need to win, I'm not very good at math, I think 8 more rounds in order to win this game before the University of Reading wins only 1. It's a little slow right now, but we're waiting for those opening picks. But Jammy, without any hesitation, gets the headshot on the Giselle. That really should have gone the other way around. But with 50 seconds left, that's only 1 body off the board. It's looking so good, and Amariti goes down as well. Prophet does go for the immediate revive, but I mean, that's a risky one, because they're all getting slaughtered.
Oh,
again.
Wretch!
Wretch takes full advantage of it and brings back the round, and you're down to just Ego Peak.
Oh, they do get the teleport through the B site, though. This guy is still here. This Cypher is going to make life a living hell. Resh follows through for the 4th. I mean, we'll talk about Amarity, but you said it was Amarity buff. I think it's just an Omen buff. There's some secret they put in the code, some little bit of extra sauce they gave this guy to make him that powerful within the past hour or so. Because the fact that both these Omens are doing this well is just insane. But Wretch needs to do it. Like you said, you're looking at 7, 8 more rounds on the board, and that is a very, very long time to allow Redding to go without a round. However, it's what they must do. Bad Omens looking to come back, and they have a really solid opportunity at doing it if they can continue this level of form.
Now, keep in mind, even though it's match point and there's still so much for Hull to bring back, they have all their ults on the board minus the Hellfire from Brimstone, and that could be a huge differentiator. But Maddie right off the bat with the classic in their safe, taking down Hunter, and that looked like Amarity might have also almost gotten another share of kill, but not quite yet. U-Haul's be contested. Wrench taking out Ego Peak, and we're looking around back and forth for whoa!
Oh, Wrench, dude!
Unskulls and Amarity takes down Wrench. Dammy though, not carrying it all, holding onto the site as much as they can. It's a back and forth. Giselle taking down Badger. Door, we're down to a 2v2, and it could go either way.
Oh, his brain's huge. Look, they don't have a clue. They don't have a clue. Spike's here. Oh, no.
The revive
is going to go towards B. They're waiting. The Omen's off Wretch. It's you against the world, but you have to clutch it out. But already shuts them down and reasserts his Omen dominance.
44 seconds left on the clock, but that spike needs to go down in seconds to be effective. And no, they push too far. That spike's going to go down, but they both take a little bit of damage. Amarity holding on with just a bare minimum amount of health, just barely holding out for their life. Top of heaven right now is going to be blinded out. Spooky not able to do what he needs to do, and that's going to be the quick scope on the Spooky. A 3K from Amarity, and Jammy brings him down and shuts him down as soon as he can. It's a 1v1 now. It's all down to this, 12 and 6. If Jammy can't get this defuse down, the game is over. That's not going to stop Giselle. He's going to aggress onwards. And the game continues on. Jammy, not afraid at all of Giselle, not afraid of the pressure of that match point. Going to continue the game on, going 12 and 7. Door, this is your chance to be right.
It's always my chance to be right. I don't want to be biased. I don't want to like root for any teams right now, but you know, I do like being correct in Redding. They don't want to be wrong right now. Losing this game would be a failure on pretty much every level imaginable. You've set yourselves up with the biggest advantage possible. Losing that round 2 versus 1 is completely unacceptable in of itself, but Jammy Dodger and the entirety of Bad Omens, in fact, have showed up on this defense. They need a good few more rounds to pull this one out, but Reading Knights, they think they have the formula. They're back here at B, something they used to call home.
A very, very slow split push coming out from B side right now. No opening operator picks that we're used to from B long from both sides happening this time around, but Prophet taking down Jammy, and that could potentially be huge. Jammy has been one of the most consistent people to bring the rounds back at the end of the day, but Prophet gets the double kill on Badger as well. It's not looking great for the defense on B, and it looks like Reading might have this in the bag. Maddie right now finding wretched as well, and you're losing all your top players. Hunter going down as well, and you're down to Spooky, last alive, and to be honest with you, he's not very good at clutching these final rounds. He does find one, but is he going to find two while being completely blinded out? They know exactly where he is. He's completely trapped. All the angles are watching him. Neural Theft comes out, but at what cost? What is it going to do? He's looking around. He gets that second one. That's going to delay the defuse just a little bit longer, but he's looking for those final headshots. He's barely alive. A single shot will take him down.
They're going for the knife!
And the
oh,
the
no!
final kill going to the knife, and that is going to be the University of Reading securing their win against the University of Hull. Bad Omens. Man. Whew. Wow, that took everything out of me. That was a crazy knife kill.
Oh my god, look at this guy, 25 and 13. Wretch, though, going toe-to-toe. Pulls out 18 of his own. I don't think we could have asked for a better match. I don't know about you, Keglenek, but that was as entertaining as it gets. It may not have been close to the end of the day, but Bad Omens, they put up a damn good fight. They really tried there in those last few rounds to shut it down. Unfortunately, I think it was just the early round that was giving the Reading Knights a little bit of trouble. And the second they figured that out, the second they got themselves a one-man advantage, it was all over and in the books.
It really was, and it just came down to, I feel like, a little bit of hesitation as well. The rotates, all things considered, both of these teams played really well. It's just that, like we mentioned before, Amariti, Maddie, Ego Peak, Prophet, all of these people just played so unbelievably well individually. Their mechanical skill and game awareness was just not, it was not on par with anything else. And they were able to bring back all these crazy clutches that normally you wouldn't see from many other teams.
Yeah, well, there's clutches, and then there's what they were doing, which is just utter dominance. I mean, I'm already, dude, 6-7 rounds in a row. He was getting, I think, on average 2 kills, and that's just at the start of the rounds. Wretch did a damn good job trying to pull it back. There's something in that Omen water, but it just barely wasn't enough. If it came a little bit earlier for him, maybe on that attacking side, maybe if the in-game leading was a little bit better tactically, then we could see a team that really shows some promise. But I do think Bad Omens, that they do perfectly well. They show promise. They are not far off. They're a little bit away tactically. They've got the individual skill very clearly to try and compete with some of these teams. It's just a little bit as far as the execution and the tactics go. And this is a team that can really contend for the top.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, you have to be able to face against your fears. You have to go up against that anxiety. And when you have a team that may objectively appear to be better than you can still try to pull through whatever you can. You cannot crumble under that pressure. You can't crumble under that fear. And 13-7, no one really crumbled. They fought a valiant fight and they brought it back quite a ways in that second half. But the first half that we saw just was a little lackluster. But if they face against each other again, that 13-7 could easily be 12-12, or I guess 13-12.
Absolutely. And as good as the game was, it's time to bring our host back in to talk about what they thought. You were watching the entire time. I was plenty entertained. How are you feeling about it?
Oh my goodness. Before we get into that, I just want to raise that in the Twitch chat, the team members of I believe Reading, so the Prophet and Ego Peak I can see from my second monitor are just interacting in there. They were saying stuff like, trust me, you didn't want to hear our comms. We were throwing really hard. All this stuff. And just to make it even better, when I was watching in-game, I think it was the 6th round or the 7th round. The Prophet, the Sage from Reading, honestly just started typing in Twitch chat. I wasn't quite sure if it was him or not at first. I was like, surely that can't be. He's playing. He's in game. Because someone asked a question. They were like, "Oh, why did the Sage res someone at the end of that round?" And he just casually typed in chat saying, "Yeah, we just feel like throwing. Like, sorry." I honestly. So I don't know if that makes their victory even more impressive or not. But I'll let you guys be the judge of that.
I mean, I think it set the real tone that within the first 2 rounds we saw the teabag come out. I think that told us a lot about where this game was going mentality-wise, but I mean, they weren't punished for it.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the fact they're having a bit of fun. It's always good to see. And also I want to add that isn't it poetic that Bad Omens fell to a very, very good omen? I almost feel like Reading should just change their name to Good Omen or God Omen.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. I guess my first question to you guys is, we spoke extensively about the Viper today. We didn't see a single Viper. On the scale of 1 to 10, Dor, how disappointed were you that we didn't get to see anyone play Viper?
I mean, how disappointed can you be after that game? Not particularly. I think the teams played fabulously either way, and strategically, as much as Viper can change things up, I don't think it brings anything to the table that wasn't already there before in the form of another agent, as much as it does just a little bit more versatility. So seeing these teams go with agents they may be more comfortable on really isn't too surprising, and I'm not disappointed by it in the least.
Well, what's your immediate thought, I guess, Max, after that game as well?
I mean, not normally do you see a game with such huge aggression coming out from both sides, but especially from all those players. We saw Amariti be so aggressive. We saw all of them be unbelievable. And I mean, after a while, I just kind of looked at the clock and I was like, really? That's how much time that went by? It felt like the game was 5 minutes long. It really did.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Amariti. I'm not sure if we have information on what rank he is, but I mean, that's sort of the one player, you know, when you're in solo queue who's on the opposition's team and you're just sat there, you're like, there's absolutely no way this guy is like goal 3. There's just I refuse to believe it. I feel like as a spectator, that was the experience I was getting. But why do you guys think that he managed to, you know, like, not to take credit away from anyone else, but he did at times, you know, single-handedly change the game, or he did at times, you know, was the one that was responsible for the opening picks or for winning the round. I guess what impressed you guys the most about his play style and what he managed to pull off?
I think it's just his map sense, his understanding of where people were going to be. I think in the first half when he was playing on defense, a lot of those early picks came down to the fact that A, he had about zero respect for the opposing team, and B, he peaked from every angle imaginable on A. I think he took 3 different angles on mid. He got a double from Cubby, he got a double from right at the U-Haul, they got a double from truck, and then he peeked bathrooms from showers. He peeked bathrooms from the normal side. He pushed bathrooms, did a double peek with his Sova. He pushed every single way imaginable. I don't think there was a round he played similar to the last. And so a lot of that came down to Bad Omens never knowing where they were expecting him to come from and his very, very solid map knowledge.
Max, you said halfway through the game that he was your MVP. Is that something that you would stand by now the match is finished?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, both Omens, I think, deserve the MPV slot for both teams, pretty much. They both played so unbelievably well. And touching back on Amariti, everything you guys said is so true. But when he started, he just didn't stop. It was never just one kill with him. It was always one. And then that would trail into a second one. And very quickly, that tempo would rise onto 3 and maybe 4 sometimes. I'm honestly surprised we didn't see an ace come out.
Just quickly before I go to you, Dor, I'm looking at chat again. Honestly, I feel like we should get the Prophet as a host or a talent on the show because he is giving us a lot of info. He just revealed that the Reading team are in fact between Diamond 3 and Immortal 2, which, you know, it says a lot.
Yeah,
I think
that'll do it.
I mean, I'd be really intrigued to see. I mean, someone said that the Prophet is actually the Immortal 2 player. Again, I'm completely not too surprised about that. But it will be interesting to know what rank Amariti is. I suspect he's Immortal.
I've got a better question, right? Who's more of the Prophet? The guy named Prophet or the guy that predicted 13-7? I was right.
Wait, was it 13-7?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that was, I don't know if either you just have like the biggest brain on in the world or you just saw something that we didn't, but that's absolutely insane. And that's on the record. You can
yep. Check the VOD. It's going in the reel.
Glow. But I mean, if we are gonna glow, I went 2 for 2 today. So
you did.
Yeah, I think you guys are both one and one. That is really unfortunate. But I mean, after seeing them play, like the next time, if Reading are going up against someone, I think I'm kind of inclined to choose them now. I think they're definitely one of the stronger teams I've seen. And I guess just lastly from the both of you, have you got any last thoughts? Not just about the last match, but everything over today. I know it's both of your debuts here, so it'd be really nice if you guys could leave us with some lasting thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I want to continue to see this level of Valorant played. And we saw seeds from about 15 on play today, but I can't wait to see where that kind of 8th, 9th seed sit. I talked earlier about how Reading were going to come in, and I thought that 5th seed or so is about the breaking point usually where that in-game leading and the strategy really steps up. But I would love to see how far back we can drag them, the level of teams that we've really got going on here.
What about you, Max? Anything to add?
I mean, we have seen some high octane, very high level gameplay today, and it's not going to stop here. From here on, it's only going to be more and more higher caliber, higher expectations, and we're going to see much crazier gameplay come on out through UK Valorant. And I'm super excited to be a part of it and continue to see what's going to happen next.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining me this evening. And there we have it. UEA and Reading have both come out of this evening with another game and another win under their belts. And that rounds up the end of the Swiss rounds. So from next week onwards, we're going to be going to the group stages. Thank you for everyone for tuning in, and thank you to our partner, Danil, as always. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at UK Valorant, and come back next Thursday at 7 p.m., like I said, for the first week of the group stages. I've been your host, Yingsu Collins, and massively thank you to our incredibly talented American duo, Dor and Keglunek, for joining me, and I will see you all next week.